Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Deepu's Decoder. Let's learn something new today. Today we are going to learn about nullable reference types in C Sharp. Nullable reference types is introduced in C Sharp version 8.0. Let's see use of nullable reference types. Null reference exceptions are the most common and difficult to find out root cause for every developer throughout the globe. If the project size is small, null reference exceptions are easy to fix. But the size of the project is increased, difficult to find out where the root cause for getting null reference exceptions. But this is not the case in value types. In value types, we are not getting any null reference exceptions mostly because of value types does not accept null values other than that if we assign nullable operator to the value types. So wherever we are use nullable value types, compiler showing error if we not handle null reference exception. But in reference types, this is not the case. Reference types will accept both null and data. So if any place we are not handle null reference exceptions for the reference types, we are getting a chance of null reference exceptions at runtime. Let's see demo for how nullable reference types will eliminate null reference exceptions of reference types. Here I am open Visual Studio. Let's see some practical scenarios of how we get null reference exceptions for value types and reference types and how to fix null reference exceptions for reference types by using nullable reference types. Here I am created personal details model and I am assigning some properties. Some of the properties here is value types and some properties are reference types. And here I am taking value property is age and I am assigning nullable operator to the age. In my main page.cs file, I am trying to accessing these details and see how compiler will show the difference between value types and reference types. Inside my get personal details method, I am trying to access these details. Here you can observe that we are taking age is the nullable operator. So inside get personal details, I'm not handling any null reference exception for age. So compiler will showing error that age is a nullable operator. So please try to handle null reference exception for age. But if you take in the case of education details, it will not show any warning or error for education details because here education details is a reference type, but age is the value type. So due to this problem, we are getting null reference exceptions in our the project and it is very difficult to find out root cause if the project size is very high. So this type of exceptions will be solved by using nullable reference types, which is introduced in C Sharp 8.0. Now I am handling null reference exception in age. So here what I have done is if the age is not null, I am assigning age to my age property. Otherwise, I am assigning 0. So here I am handling. So here I am handling getting null reference exception of age. Like this, for the value types, compiler will show errors without getting any errors in runtime. But in the reference types, compiler will not suggest any warnings or errors. So we are getting null reference exceptions mostly for reference types. Let's run and see how we get null reference exception. Here you can see that in education details count we are getting null exception because we are not handled. and that too while compile time our compiler will not suggest any warning or error. So in runtime only we know that our education profile is null value. That's why we are getting the exception. Inside this personal details model, we are assigning nullable operator to the age. So compiler will detect and help to the developer that there is a chance of getting null reference exception, please handle it. But if you try to assign same nullable operator to the education profile, it will not accept because the education profile is the reference type. So we are not able to assign any nullable operator to the reference types before C# version 8.0 below versions. But in C# 8.0 version and above versions, we can able to assign nullable operator to the reference types also. And that too we can able to get suggestions from the compiler that if we have any chance of getting null reference exceptions. Let's see how to enable null reference exceptions or nullable operators in C# version 8.0 and above versions. Now I am changed my project C# version to 8.0. Here you can observe that once I changed my project C# version to 8.0, nullable operator will accept in reference types. So in C# 8.0 and above versions, we can able to assign nullable operator to the reference types also. Let's see steps to enable nullable reference type warnings in project. If you want to enable nullable reference type of warnings in single class, we need to assign some tags, that is nullable enable. Here you can observe that once I am assigning these tags, compiler will show warnings to the reference types. Here you can read this. Name is a non-nullable type. Please assign some value. Like that we are getting warnings from compiler. If you assign this nullable enable tags is assigned. But this is only work for the single class. If you want to enable nullable reference type warnings throughout the project, we need to add some tags from the project CS file. For that, and go to my project CS file. I'm adding nullable tag is enable. So once add this tags in our project CS file, nullable reference type warnings we are getting throughout the project. Here you can see that I'm removing these tags also. We are getting null reference exception related warnings. Let's see how compiler will warn if you try to access null reference types. Here you can see that our compiler will warning that there is a chance of getting null reference exception. Please try to handle. So in C# 8.0 version, we get the warnings from the compiler if the reference types also is a possible of chance in getting null reference exception. But in the below C# 8.0, we are only getting value types only for handling null reference exception. But in the C# version 8.0, for reference types also, we are getting warnings from the compiler like try to handle null reference exceptions for reference types. This is the one main feature introduced in C# version 8.0.
Thank you for watching our video. Please like, share and subscribe our channel Deepus Decoder.